We are down here at Finley Landing. Thanks for joining us. Chill out and relax for a minute. Take a deep breath. That's what your body is made to do, is take these big, deep breaths. So everybody with me, go. Take some deep breaths. Take your awareness inside yourself just a little bit. Today we're going to talk about what a rock art museum, a brick and mortar business or museum would look like. And this might differ for everybody, but for me, this museum would look like we would have different samples from artifacts, effigies from all over the country, and we would have them labeled out. So this would be like West Coast California, Northern California. This is from Wyoming, or these are the characters, the repeating characters. So North Carolina, of course, would get filled up really quick because we have documented a few of the reoccurring characters, and other people find them too, like the chickens, like the squirrel girl. And so other people are, there's beavers where Creek Stain lives. There are different animals dominant in the stones in different areas. So the museum would look like an area that, or a space, like just an office space that had different little sections of it that would have it, separated by the place that they were found. And, we can get really creative with that by making like maps on the wall and putting like that specific motif on the wall and then showing it in the different boxes. And that would be one aspect to the museum. The other one would be maybe some research stuff, like different oddities, like clay oddities, like these ones that we see here strewn into the floor. So these are wet right now and they're a little bit destroyed, but you can see how these pottery pieces split apart and into all these little sections. And in those little sections are all different little images, mostly birds. But just taking a close look at the color on some of these beautiful pieces of artwork. I don't know where you go to find rainbow colored rocks here like this, but let me just show you the bird. Let's zoom out, sorry. So it is resembling a bird with its wings. And it's got little faces in there too. Sometimes you have to tilt the bird very far. So you see how that may represent a bird. And then of course we have like an old man face over here. But these sheets, all these sheets come off to create different images. So this might allow you to see the bird a little better. Let's take him off. So you see how the bird's head is represented, right? Then each one of these sheets is another. This is just a little old man totem. You can see his nose, like the man in the mountain. And then on the left side, there is also a little silhouette there. You can see how the eye carving is done. It's highly unbelievable. How could people put this stuff on rocks? Look at the paint on the eye with the nose and the mouth there. You can see that hook nose. And then to the right, we also have the dot. See the different, there's a carving up top right here in the middle. You might see with an eyebrow. But then that dot in there, he's got the little chin again. So now that we are able to see this style of this art, we can take a look at different birds that are represented with that straight back. It's just little fat birds. And then this one actually has some color on it. But this is also the pointy beak of the bird here. And this section is blackened. It's not exactly like being at the creek, but we can wash these off. Does look like a bird when you point it at an extreme angle, but it looks like there's other things too. This is probably the best way to look at the bird. So you can see the painting diamond eye. See how the eye has got that black spot around it? This is the beak of it. And so then when you're able to see the face of it, when you turn it, you can see how it can resemble the bird. Let's put it like that. That's probably the way to go. So if you guys are watching this right now, and you can see, I know it's very unbelievable. And if I'm just saying, if you're not into this and you don't know it's real, these artifacts right here will show you that they're real. Little man's in the mountains. And you can see the way they carved out the eye. So every single portrait has that carved out eye on the top of it. Very special pieces. Very pretty. Now in this bigger piece, we can go deeper. So, I mean, every little shard, you can see how this little bird head, see the beak and the crest, the round crest with the little eye at the head. So this is again that little fat chicken with other little human characters there in the bottom. And this can be separated a few more times, but look at the little bird head on this top. So you can see the wings, see how the wings are rippled. And then on the bottom here, we have the crack open for the mouth there, and there's a few different eyes. There's still more slabs in this, as we said. You can take off another piece, and then there's a whole nother section. Instead I broke it. But here's a beautifully colored face there, and we can wash this one off. So you guys can see it in all its glory. But it is just a large, I can get that little piece of, there we go. So you can see the crack for the mouth, the little nose, and then there's a few different eyes in there. The one eye that I see is the carving right there. You see this with the white spot in the middle, and the carving right here. And so then as we turn this, you guys may see more things, mammoths perhaps. But as we tilt this, it turns into like an old man face or something. These get very deep, very detailed. As you can imagine, you're seeing the detail already, but the bird man here. And if you're able to see the art, you'll be able to see these little micro carvings. There is a carving of an eye in there. And of course, you know, there's your birds and everything else in there. So this stuff gets really deep and it's really interesting. I really enjoy sharing these types of artifacts with you guys because they're extreme. I mean, that was just one of these many, just to show you how many there are. Each one of these has the same level of detail, the same amount of things in it. You can pick up any single one and spend 8 minutes describing it, just as I have. I mean, they're all wet now, but you can see the way that they put the stones inside of them as well. So you see those little crystals in a line, all those little small crystals. Those white sections right there, those are stones ornamenting this clay pottery piece. It's fantastic. It's out of this world, the level of detail that they had. And it's I won't lie, a little frustrating sometimes because people just, our state and our government wants to deny these colored painted pieces of pottery. These things have high level art on them, all these little chunks, and this is a fantastic find for this area. I might have to put my hood up. It seems like it's going to start raining, but there's a big stone in the eye of this character here. Another big crystal that was left, and after you take that crystal off, you can see so many on this one. It's just the classic birds, and then as I move it around, I'm seeing quite a few more little images and faces on this. It's a little wet, but they actually packed them in clay and dyed clay. It's pretty awesome. Maybe we'll wash this one off. For the rest of these, I'm just gonna let them dry. I don't wanna mess with them too much unless they're already cores, which is, this one's a core. The bottom of the face is painted black here. So the core is kind of what's left over. We have a wild, beautiful mammoth here. Or maybe just a face. It's the mammoth with his tuft. You can see how the mammoth eye is done, and then whenever you look under that eye, you can see the pupil every time. That's another thing that just kind of lets you know that this is for real. And here's another beautiful woman silhouette with this being the hair, and probably another mammoth on the left. We are cleaned off, and you can see the way the clay is done for the circle eyes. So you can see how this is the nose, the chin, the jawline of this Indian, right? And he does have this wild mammoth on the other side of him. When you flip this over there, all washed off, you can see the carvings for the eyes, for the silhouettes of the human beings. And then on the left-hand side, indeed, after we washed it, we can see this beautiful mammoth eye. See the circle? The tusk and trunk are black. It even has the crack for the tusk there, like the lips. And of course, we can see the tuft. Very awesome one. Very cool. Maybe I'll stick this one in the pocket because I know there's even a few more. And it always goes back to this classic bird. So that'll have a bird pointing up. You can see how the black is over the face, and you can see the circle eye, which is right here. And the beak, how it's open. This is the art style of these ancient people. You see the little crest coming up, but it's mixed with the purple. So we're looking at the black and the purple together with that circle eye right there in the middle. And then we're moving it and tilting it a little bit and seeing how that bird is poking out. But underneath that, there's this human silhouette. So the bird is pointing kind of upward with a bird man with his pointy beak nose, but his jawline and everything represented as well. And here probably we just have a bird head maybe with that very large carving for the eye. We have a very cool one. Looks like the whole bottom of it's painted yellow. Sorry if I'm tilting the camera a little bit, but it is just like a pointy head. That black paint right there is for the woman. It's a higher level art. She looks like she has white hair. And then the rest of this purple stone here on this side will have very lifelike. I might have to take this one. This is high level indigenous art. It's people that practiced art like we'd never have in our entire lives. So you can see the black spot right there is what I'm looking at as the eye. And then as we come down, we can see that there's other silhouettes within it. So these other dark black spots, I wish I could point, but it's up there in the yellow. I'll put it directly in the middle of the screen. There's a few different eyes. There's very many different silhouettes. You can see how the purple in the middle of the screen, surrounded by the black, is the eye of another character in the yellow face. So looking at the yellow and the black only. And you can see how that face, that demon-like face, is coming up to this wild hair. You may see other images too once you start to look at this the way that I am, the way that they did as well. So this isn't just coming from my imagination, you guys know. This is intended. And the archaeological evidence is outrageous. Look at this flat yellowed section here. And this has more, let's split it. It has a split right in the middle of it. So just taking a look at the carvings, you can see this eye, right? Well, you see everything, right? I know you do. I know you do. You see the stripes. So this is the eye. You can see how there's other headdress stripes that were put onto this. On the very top of this, we have the mammoth eye, the mammoth hump, and this long trunk represented with both the paint and with the carvings. Here, pointing to the left, we can see how the eye is done within this section. Zoom in on that. You can see how it's rough with the hole in the middle. So this is a silhouette also pointing to the left. And there's so many more sheets in this piece. So looking at this one, the other side of it, we can see how there's a face to the left. Again, that same mammoth at the top. Look at this snapped, sharpened edge. It was by design that they made these edges, by the way that they made these artifacts. This was a generational thing. They dyed the ponds and then came back years later. There's even more in here, and I'd love to split it up, but it's wet, so I think I'm going to leave it. I might take it with me. And here we are at another large, great outcropping of them. We'll have several here. One thing the museum won't do, of course, is sell artifacts, but we will give locations. My ideal museum, anyway, would give locations to different sites within state parks where it's legal to collect rocks, you know. Plenty of places that you can go to collect rocks. And so I'd give those coordinates and those places that you can go, especially in the creeks and the rivers, which are all, as we discussed before, state property. So I think that would be good. So I'm kind of looking around for an oddity, and I see this one. It has a very small silhouette at the bottom here with its little mouth and the eye right there, the little eye hole. You'd have to zoom in pretty far to see that one, but then you can see the nose poking out here for the other silhouette. You can see the eye up top perhaps a little better. There's other little silhouettes on the top that are painted over here and on this purple edge here as well. There's a little bit of clay on this, we could wash it off, but trying to pick one that was kind of unique, and we can split this one right away. There's so many right here, and I gotta be careful where I step because I'll break them. But let's go ahead and split this so that we can see how here we have the circle eye, that circle cake eye. You see the nose and how the mouth is upturned. And you can see the purple hair. You can also see the painted face or carved out face on the top here with the black little symbol, the little backwards T. Even on this right side, there's another silhouette. So these are the statues of the indigenous Americans that lived here at Findlay Landing in Smithfield, North Carolina. No one's ever really found these clay artifacts or looked at them like this before. So I haven't been wanting to take, you know, it's not, I didn't make them. I just found them. I think they're amazing. See the black face with the eye right there? There's a few. See that T makes an eye. There are so many on this and so many more sheets to come off. You can see these circles, how they're done, and then right above that circle, you see the other eye. So he's got like a painted nose section. And again, that woman just kind of looking right at us this time. Looking away from us, you see how the nose and the mouth is done. This face here with the chin, all these little sections come off. See the curved up nose of the purple face with the orange around the bottom of it. And then you can see more painted ones on the top here as we go around. You see the carving, see the circle. It's a little faint, but there's a carving for an eye right in the middle of that purple triangle, I guess you could say. Then as you tilt this, you can see that longest point as being the nose. You can see how the eye is in orange right here in the middle of the screen. And then as we tilt that eye and we point that nose, you can see how the mouth comes straight. You can see the lines for the roots, perhaps creating the cheekbone. This stuff is all preserved in a rich red clay. Now looking at that smaller eye, you can use this black circled section for the eye as you look further down it. Let's keep it in the sun over here. We'll turn it this way. Changing the distances and moving your phone back and forth will help, but you can see how that eye has now grown very large. How there is now just a huge, with that point as the nose, with this wild hair, just a huge god of some sort. So, I mean, just take a deep breath. Like I started with the video, just take a deep breath. Wow. Am I right? Just amazing. So each one of these, this is the other side of the T. And of course, facing to the right, you can see the carvings very well for the eye. It's face on top of face, of course. Oh, I just took my friend's nose off here. But those dark sections are the eyes. You might see just a face looking at us with the mouth here, with the nose here. There's so many more leaves on this. Like we say, each and every single one of these sheets is another one. The first one that I'm seeing right here is this loose. See how it's loose, but it's a profile. So we can take that section off. And then we see this very long face. Again, with that super long face, what we do is we tilt that down to make this crazy image. Now we're looking at the eye right here in this section as we tilt it. So you'll start to see the face facing at us, of course. So it's like a lioness kind of face, right? Zoom in just a bit for you guys. And as we move it, different ones will appear on every corner, just using the longest points as being the noses. It's amazing. Now this way we have the mammoth with the eye, the circle eye perhaps, or the eye above it. We can see how the ear is done. And then of course, facing to the right, there's a woman statue, but as we said, there's more to even take off of this. Okay. Wow. All right, let's watch this one. I can't stop today. These are so beautiful. Thank you guys so much. Over 109 subscribers to the petition, or signers on the petition. We can see the yellow beak, how the bird is just represented here. It's just a big clay bird. You can see how the crest is done. And let's go ahead and try to explore some more of this. There will be little silhouettes in here in the bottom. You might be able to see them already. There's one on the very top with all the hair carving. Looks like she has some kind of eagle maybe. I mean, interpret it as you will, but you can see all the carvings on it. And we can wash this off a little bit, but we're already seeing what's going on here. Right here is the eye for one. And it does have this clay pack on it, so you kind of have to wash it off in order to see. They preserve these in rich red clay, even though they are made of clay themselves. So much packed in clay there. Little rocks in it, you see? Trying to get some of that off so that we can see. You have to kind of think outside the box a little bit. This is very different than what we can see in modern art. However, everyone should be able to see these. this huge head statue that I'm holding. We're using the longest point as being the nose, and then you see the paint upon the face there, how the mouth is coming down here with the crack for the mouth right here at my thumb. You'll see so much more. On every corner here, the painted section, you see how the mouth is the same kind of way with this hook nose, with the black hair perhaps. More like a woman, right? Or like a witch. We could tilt it this way and do the same thing over again. So here we have a representation of the wild-tailed bird, I believe. How the beak is poking up there. And looking on the right side, portrait of this big bird with the eye carving in the middle there, you can see the big bird head carved. We can see a few more just at the very end. So many on these. Let's take a look at this other one. This is kind of an oddity, but you can see just the right side portrait with the clay pack still on the eye, the little brown section. Just a big yellow face. Let's wash it. For our other side here, we can see again we have that long nose, so we tilt the art so that that little nose comes out. There we are. And you can see the paint that's on this. It's still a little dirty. I think this one is the best representation there, facing to the right. Wow, these are so good. These are so amazing. There are quite a few that are broken up a little bit, but just to kind of show you what they look like in the bulk. You can see this is the bird with the head poking behind its body. So it's just this section that's painted. You can see how the bird eye is on top, how the bird's head is separated right here, how this is the neck of perhaps the goose, and these are the wings coming back. And this little section here is painted. It's a whole nother book of stone, which we have, you know, there's thousands of them. Each and every time when you see the longest point as being the nose, you look up to see the eye, and it's there. It's amazing. Just thousands of them, billions of them. Well, geez, thanks for joining today, guys. I hope you got a kick out of all that. And I mean, I really don't even want to stop. Do you see how the bird beak is represented here on this pink section? This is the little effigy of the big bird, and then again, it has all those little sheets in it. Every single sheet in this is another face, another piece of art, with the left and right side portraits. Each section that comes off is another one. There are hundreds of effigies packed into one. And I believe today I was able to show you how they're extremely apparent. Even though it's unbelievable, the evidence is without a doubt there to at least warrant an investigation. So if you haven't already, sign that petition, guys. I really need you to sign it. Thank you for everyone who has signed it. And geez, 119 people. Never would have thought that would have gotten there that quickly. So let's go ahead and get it to 150 and then maybe 200. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Do appreciate it. Thank you and have a great day.